on KCRA3.
Arden Fair Mall shut down as protests continue following the decision on the Stephon Clark case.
No racist, police, no justice, no peace.
Calls for change on police procedure, a detailed look at a controversial bill that would alter the use of deadly force.
And loved ones of Clark continue to express their pain.
It's definitely been hard. It's been a struggle.
And anger at the DA's decision.
The district attorney shouldn't be trusted.
This is KCRA3. We begin with breaking news.
That breaking news out of Sacramento, where the mall has been shut down. Shoppers stopping at the doors there at Arden Fair. Dozens of businesses losing revenue today as demonstrators gather outside to demand justice for Stephon Clark. Now, this comes just a day after the DA's controversial decision to not file charges against the officers who shot and killed Clark.
This is just one of several news stories emerging tonight after that decision. We begin with Walter McCullough, who is live at Arden Fair Mall with what it looks like now. Good evening, Walter.
Tony, good evening to you. You know, the mall made the announcement to shut down this morning just after 9 o'clock. And throughout the day, we've seen about a dozen protesters here outside the main entrance of the mall. You can see it there. They have all since gone home. We've seen the last of them leave this area about an hour ago. But behind me, a little to your right, you can see that the parking lot here is completely empty. The area has remained a ghost town throughout much of the day, and a little further to the right, you can see the entrance here is blocked off. All of the entrances have looked this way throughout a big portion of the day, the mall not taking any chances of violence breaking out.
What do we want? Justice. What do we want?
Arden Fair Mall releasing this statement tonight. Per the recommendation of Sacramento City officials and viable information regarding a concentrated effort by protesters to gather in unsafe numbers, Arden Fair has elected to remain closed today. The decision made about an hour and a half before the mall was scheduled to open at 11 a.m.
I cannot feel protected.
Outside, demonstrators making their voices heard.
We want to be no longer dehumanized.
We, as black people, have continued to be targeted in America for too long. This is only a little bit of redemption for us, but our target's still on our backs.
Some showed up as a gesture of support for the Clark family.
We are here on behalf of him and his family, and on behalf of the entire black community and any other community that faces the injustice that we face of any sort.
Arden Fair Mall saying in a statement, safety of their patrons is their #1 priority. As a part of this community, Arden Fair respected the desires of these individuals, but due to the high potential for unsafe numbers to gather today, we have closed the center to groups of any size. And the mall did make an announcement earlier this afternoon, around 4 o'clock, that they would reopen for business again tomorrow. Reporting live from Arden Fair Mall, Walter McCullough, KCRA3 News.
Yeah, it's just a strange sight seeing you standing there where there's normally a bunch of traffic this time of day. So, all right, Walter, thanks for that.
Well, today's protest sparking a cry for change in the way police use deadly force. We turn now to a controversial bill making its way through the state capitol.
Yeah, let's go to KCRA3 political reporter Mike Lurie standing by in the studio with what we should know about the California Act to Save Lives. Mike.
Golson, Assembly Bill 392 has strong community support, but also some real concerns from law enforcement. It would update a California law that is more than 100 years old.
You tear us down,
we shut you down.
A shutdown of the Arden Fair Mall today by community activists who are demanding a change in the criminal justice system. They want new rules for when police can use lethal force, not when reasonable as it is under the current law, but only when necessary. The California Act to Save Lives, AB 392, is co-authored by Sacramento Assemblyman Kevin McCarty.
It would modernize the police practices, focus on de-escalation, look for ways for alternatives, and really set the standard that deadly force and taking human life is something that should only be utilized when necessary, when there are no other alternatives available to them.
There is strong support for the bill in the African American community, including the NAACP of Sacramento. If AB 392 were already a law in effect, say 2-3 years ago, would it have changed the outcome of what happened to Stephon Clark?
I think it would have given a pause, which could have given the life of Stephon Clark. And so that's what you have to start somewhere. We have to open the door, crack that door somewhere.
But some community activists, like Barry Axios, question whether the California Act to Save Lives really goes far enough.
The reason why we're kind of reluctant to really fully support the bill is because we want to make sure that if there is some kind of abusive force with the police officers in that bill, there is something saying that these police will be held accountable. They will go to jail. They'll be fired.
And we reached out to the California Peace Officers Association about this bill. They told us they are withholding comment on AB 392 until the California Attorney General and possibly the U.S. Attorney complete their investigations of the case involving Stephon Clark.
So, Mike, what happened last time a bill was introduced involving changes to the use of force?
So there was a similar bill actually introduced last year, but it also died from lack of support. This year, Kevin McCarty says he's much more optimistic and plans to have assembly hearings next month. There's also a rival bill in the Senate that puts more focus on officer training. So we'll follow both of them and see what happens with them.
Yeah, we'll see how far they get. All right, Mike, thanks. Well, meantime, the brother of Stephon Clark, Devontae Clark, spoke today for the first time since the DA's findings were released, and he says he supports laws to change police procedure, and he supports those that have already happened within the department, but he says the city still has failed to give justice to his family.
No evidence presented yesterday can justify the way my brother was killed. There's no reason I should be defending my brother's innocence when the police officers who murdered him should be proven theirs. The officers never announced themselves as law enforcement, never even gave him a chance to be detained before allegedly firing 20 shots. No emergency services were notified as he lay dying for over 10 minutes handcuffed. No weapon was found. The body cameras were muted. The district attorney shouldn't be trusted.
And we're also hearing from the fiance of Stephon Clark, Selena Monty, who stopped by our studio today along with her two sons, Aiden, age 4, and Cairo, age 2.
Yeah, she talked about her anger at the decision of the DA to talk about her relationship struggles with Clark. Monty's combative texts with Clark were described by DA Schubert in intimate detail.
It wasn't about the officers who murdered him. It was more about me and him in our personal life. And I don't think that's right, because that's not what killed him. That's not who, I'm not the one who murdered him. It makes me angry that that was basically the topic of discussion.
After a year-long investigation, DA Schubert determined that the officers genuinely feared for their lives and were justified in using lethal force.
And Monty also talked about how much she misses Stephon and the memories that she will have of him as a father of her children.
He was a good dad. He was a good fiance. I mean, he was just very loving. Like, he just loved his family. He always wanted to take care of everyone. You know, he just had a big heart. That's how I can put it. Too big for this world.
Monty is 24 years old. She works in Southern California, but came up to Sacramento to hear the DA's decision.
I will call upon the Lord.
Songs of healing today. Faith leaders offering community discussion and prayer over the Stephon Clark decision. KCRA 3's Tish Palmadesi looks at the healing service that was held in a Sacramento church and how the community is holding each other up through this time.
Dozens filled the seats at the South Sacramento Christian Center.
Many of you have seen what has been happening yesterday morning with the DA's announcement of her findings of Stephon Clark.
Pastor Les Simmons opening his doors to anyone feeling frustration, forgotten, and unheard after the DA's decision in the Stephon Clark case.
And so as a faith leader, as a community leader, we have a moral obligation to stand for justice, to stand for equality, and to do it with our faith values of love.
One day after hearing the officers involved in Stephon Clark's death would not be charged, Simmons felt it was important to provide the community space and time to process the news.
And to help move and treat that trauma and treat that pain.
So we're really here to figure out how do we help support and serve them in this time of great crisis.
Pastor Simmons called in the help of longtime Bay Area activist Pastor Ben McBride. McBride has been offering guidance and productive ways to deal with community and law enforcement issues for the past several years.
Well, I think in moments like these, when we're really dealing with a lot of anxiety and a lot of pain, there's oftentimes a rush to try to think about what's the action that we need to do. And for, some time, we've been lifting up that the wrong first question is, what do we need to do? The right first question is, who do we need to become?
Maybe the darkness of this moment is not the darkness of a tomb, but maybe it's the darkness of a wound.
McBride says providing space and time like today's service is an important step in community understanding.
And spaces for people to be able to debrief with one another, to figure out how folks begin to process through that, and then invite them into a journey that begins to construct a new future.
We need to come together, we need to work together, we need to stand together, cry together, but most of all, whatever we do, we need to do it in a nonviolent way, because love will conquer hate.
Attendees say the message of reform after Clark's death is their hope for the future.
It's unfortunate that it took a life of a young man for this to be resolved, but I think that some good is going to come out of it in the long run.
In South Sacramento, Tish Palmadesi, KCRA 3 News.
The South Sacramento Christian Center plans on holding another Healing Space event that's scheduled for Tuesday, March 5th. That'll be held from 6 to 8 p.m. We will make sure to continue to track the DA's decision in the Stephon Clark shooting case and community reaction on our free KCRA 3 app. You can sign up for push alerts.
We are following breaking news out of Alabama this evening. Severe weather, possibly a tornado, being blamed for killing at least 14 people. Some of those deaths include children, and this is what's left of communities in Lee County. Piles of debris as homes were torn apart, roofs ripped off, and trees were toppled. A massive cell phone tower came crashing down across a road. The metal just buckled. Right now, search and rescue operations are underway in Alabama. That storm system also hit Georgia and Florida.
Crews in Amador County were busy this morning helping a driver who tried to cross a flooded road. It didn't work out. The truck got stuck when it hit the fast-moving waters of the Rancheria Creek. This is in the area of Turner Road. You can see all that water reaching just above the tires there. The driver and the passenger were rescued. Fire crews are saying that it's a good reminder just to turn around, don't drown.
Well, still ahead, the day started with some sprinkles in parts of the valley.
Yeah, KCRA 3 meteorologist Dirk Verdorn tracking it all. Do we have more rain coming for this week? How about some sun? We'll check with Dirk.
Three, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff.
There it goes, SpaceX success. A new era for space exploration launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida this weekend. The historic test flight took off just before 3 in the morning on Saturday. A Falcon 9 rocket carrying a capsule designed to take astronauts to space. The Crew Dragon mission was to test the capsule's safety and ability to autonomously dock at the International Space Station. Since 2011, American astronauts have been stuck hitching a ride with Russian rockets since NASA's space shuttle program ended. Inside the Crew Dragon capsule was a test dummy that measured critical information on where hopefully a live crew member will be sitting in July. From the Crew Dragon in space to a dancing dragon in Stockton, today the community celebrated the Chinese New Year with music and dance through downtown. This is the Year of the Pig. It's the 41st year of the festival in the Port City.
Well, free entry today at the World of Wonders Science Museum in Lodi. It was all to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the teaching the incredibly vast world of science to families. KCRA 3's Leticia Ordaz spoke with children who are getting a hands-on experience today and has more on the big plans for expansion for that museum.
I love it because of the bubbles.
13-year-old Clinton Smith has been hooked on the World of Wonders Science Museum in Lodi ever since first grade.
I like it. Every time I come here, I have fun. It's really awesome.
Smoke machine.
On this 10-year anniversary, the program director Jen Young explains the important role the museum plays in the community.
STEM education is really important for creativity and problem solving and all those important skills that we want, our kids and then adults to have.
It's hands-on learning with more than 70 exhibits. You can play with the plasma ball and see electricity go right through your body. Jump on a flight simulator or experience a tornado.
Over here is one of my favorites, the drums, the heartbeat drum. You can actually check your heartbeat.
They are reading in school, but they sometimes don't get hands-on experience. So being down here, they can play and touch things.
So it's a hot and cold engine.
Meet Dr. Wow, the longtime volunteer who built nearly all of the exhibits.
I just want to bring science to kids, bring motivation to want them to want to learn, to be engineers, scientists in the future.
Looking to the future, plans are in the works to expand the museum another 40,000 square feet, adding a planetarium, exhibits, a carousel, and community park.
The World of Wonders expansion is happening right across the street. In fact, they've already purchased these 8 parcels of property here, and they hope to have it ready for the public to enjoy in 2 to 4 years. In Lodi, Leticia Ordaz, KCRA 3 News.
Just getting bigger and bigger. The World of Wonders Science Museum is in the process now of trying to raise $26 million. They're asking for businesses, foundations, and the community to make a donation towards expanding their project. But it sounds like it's worthwhile.
Looks really incredible. Today was a great day to be there, be inside, get out of the raindrops. Turning to KCRA 3 weather now. Caltrans continues to work on clearing roads in the Sierra. After recent snowfall, they have their work cut out for them, that's for sure. Take a look at this video. They sent out a huge snowplow clearing a wall of snow from the I-80 just east of Donner Summit. My gosh.
The work just goes on and on.
Coming.
And I think there's going to be some more work for them in the near future, Dirk, right?
They're going to have some more blocks to play with. You have blocks of snow that is coming down. We've got conditions that are going to be getting wet as we head through the week ahead, but we have a little bit of a break. But right now, we still have some showers out there. Right now, currently, it's dry in downtown Sacramento. There's a little bit of a breeze. Current temperatures ranging in the 50s, 55 degrees in Sacramento, 56 in Stockton, as well as Modesto and Lake Tahoe holding on to 34 degrees. Winds strongest in the valley right now. We have a west wind in Stockton at 17 miles per hour, west wind in Fairfield at 17, and Modesto seeing a breeze at about 14 miles per hour. Today's daytime high temperatures made their way into the mid to low 60s from Marysville through Modesto, 63 in Fairfield, 54 in Auburn, and 41 degrees at Lake Tahoe. How much rain have we seen over the past 24 hours? Not a lot in Sacramento or Yuba City, just a few hundredths here and there, but we've had over 31 hundredths in Stockton, 22 tenths in Modesto, 7 tenths in Columbia, almost a half an inch in Auburn, and over a half an inch in Quincy. So we had some decent amounts of rain in some areas over the past 24 hours, and we're still seeing some pretty good downpours. You can see Doppler showing us a line of heavy rain. You can see the stretching from Oakdale just to the north. These little pockets here of areas of yellow and orange rain. That shows us that with some pretty heavy downpours associated with that. And Sonora still getting some rain. We're seeing some moving out of Wallace into Ione, where we've had a pretty good downpour there. San Andreas catching a break, but there's more rain heading your way. And it's just this narrow band of rain stretching from Plymouth up past Cameron Park, El Dorado Hills, and then heading a little bit farther north. You can see also in the Sierra still seeing lots of rain and a little bit of snow up over the high country. Donner Summit currently seeing some snow. Again, accumulations, we're not looking at any great accumulations, but we're still seeing some rain moving out of Yuba City on towards Loma Rica, Oroville, Feather Falls, all getting some more rain. And these features are what we're watching as we still have that moist flow cutting across the state, but we have this jet stream. This is a subtropical jet stream that's going to be impacting our weather as we head through next week. That combined with this area of low pressure is going to bring more rain through Tuesday into Wednesday and possibly into Thursday as these two systems combine. This is the area of low pressure as it gets closer, so we're seeing that break on Monday, but as we head into Tuesday, there we see that stream, the jet stream, making its way into California, bringing that rain. We're going to see that more over Southern California. We're looking at a steady stream of moisture, while Northern California, we could see anywhere from a half an inch to over an inch of rain in most valley spots, an inch to 2 inches in through the mountains, and again, we could see decent amounts also in through the Sierra as far as snowfall, but those snow levels are going to be running pretty high, up above 6,000 feet. 7-day forecast. There's your rain on Tuesday through Wednesday. Showers lingering into Thursday. We will have another weather system come through, but we're looking at it possibly breaking up, so we'll just get some cloud cover from that with temperatures still staying below average as we go through next week.
So maybe a dry weekend next week?
It's looking like there's a chance for dry. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but there's a chance.
But you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
All right.
Okay, Dirk. Thanks.
All right, turning to sports, big game for the Kings tomorrow night.
Of course, those Kings gearing up for the New York Knicks tomorrow. Of course, they continue their playoff push, and the St. Francis girls soccer team makes history, of course, with a golden goal here from the Trubies. Next up in sports.
Now, KCRA 3 Sports, powered by Toyota.
Sacramento Kings return to the hardwood tomorrow night when they host the New York Knicks. The Kings continue a 4-game homestand. They look to snap their 3-game losing streak. They've also lost 5 of the last 6 games. They are 3 games back of the 8th seed in the Western Conference, but it feels good to be part of that playoff conversation.
This is everything, man. This is why you want to come to the league, is this chance to be in the biggest show and show off your skills, and you have a lot of fun doing it. And then we're in it. I mean, we're here. Every game is a show.
So the Kings host the Knicks tomorrow, but today they were in Los Angeles to face the Clippers. The rookie Landry Shamet, he scores 18 of his 21 points in the first 12 minutes. His 7 threes were most by any rookie in a quarter since the 02-03 season. Knicks lose their 50th game of the year, 128-107. With the Clippers win there, the Kings now 3.5 games back of Los Angeles and 3 games back of the 8th-seeded Spurs. The high school basketball regional final matchups are all set. The boys' open division featuring the Sheldon Huskies taking on the Modesto Christian Crusaders at Cosumnes River College for a shot at the state title game. In D4, the Wood Wildcats travel to Emmanuel. Of course, girls hoops, Bear Creek heading to Bishop O'Dowd in Division 1. The Cinderella story here, 16th seeded Union Mine battling Oakland. And in D6, Forest Lake Christian faces Etna. The St. Francis girls soccer team taking home some new hardware on Saturday. Junior Lindsay Piatanese scoring the goal. It's the golden goal, in fact, in overtime to lead St. Francis to the 1-0 victory over Mountain View as the Troubadours win their first CIF State NorCal soccer title in school history.
I kind of had a gut feeling that we were going to score, so it was really exciting. It was in the box, and then Jackie passed it back to me, and then I was able to finish. After falling in the section finals, it was definitely a major disappointment, but it's really exciting that we were able to pick ourselves back up and win it again.
Big congrats to the ladies.
Yeah, great attitude.
Yes,
Michelle,
indeed.
thank you, and Merry Christmas, by the way. Look at the two of us.
Green and red. All right.
Season.
We'll be right back with another check of weather.
It's winter. Coming up tonight at 10 and 11, chase and capture.
Yeah, CHP helicopter follows a suspect running through a Fairfield neighborhood, the unique place he thought to hide and how officers found him. That's coming up tonight at 10 on My 58 and KCRA 3 News right here at 11.
Now let's get a final check on the weather. You got some good news ahead.
Some good news. The rain that we're seeing right now is going to be dissipating. We're looking at a dry day on Monday. We'll have mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies and times. Temperatures warming into the mid to low 60s. But the rain does return, and we may start seeing some as early as Tuesday morning and through the San Joaquin Valley, then creeping into the Sacramento Valley by later on Tuesday afternoon. Then we're looking at widespread rain on into Tuesday night and through Wednesday. Yeah, we could see up to an inch or so in some valley spots again with this next weather system.
March just kind of picking up where February left off,
yes,
basically.
It
is. Okay, thanks, Derek. Our next newscast coming up tonight at 10 o'clock on My 58. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
I'll see you.